What if I told you there's a simple way to waste your 40s completely? Not in some dramatic, movie scene kind of way, but quietly, gradually, through a series of small, normal choices that feel harmless. Until one day you wake up and don't recognize your own life. Your 40s are strange like that. You're old enough to have experience, young enough to still change. But if you're not paying attention, this decade can slip right through your fingers. This video? It's a guide, not to success, not to growth, but to ruin, the silent, sneaky kind. The kind that wears a smile, shows up on time, checks all the boxes, but deep down, feels like something's missing. We're going to walk through 5 habits that slowly erase who you are. Not because you're lazy, not because you're broken, but because it's what most people are doing without even realizing it. So if you've ever caught yourself wondering, is this really it? Why do I feel stuck, even when everything looks fine? Then you're in the right place. This isn't about guilt. It's about seeing clearly and maybe laughing a little along the way. Because sometimes, the truth hits hardest when it's wrapped in irony. Let's begin. Here's how to ruin your 40s in 10 minutes. Step 1. Pretend nothing's changing. Ignore the gray hairs, the slower recovery after a night out, the way your back whispers threats every time you tie your shoes. Tell yourself, age is just a number, while secretly panicking when someone calls you sir or ma'am. Refuse to update anything, your wardrobe, your routines, your worldview. Keep acting like you're 28, even if your body is screaming for vegetables, sleep, and fewer existential crises. Here's the trick. Use comparison as fuel. Scroll past influencers 10 years younger and convince yourself you're behind. Push harder. Stay busy. Look young. Act young. Never, ever stop to ask, why am I trying so hard to outrun a clock I can't control? Because the moment you pause, you might feel grief. You might feel fear. You might realize that aging isn't about loss. It's about change. And change? That means letting go. Letting go of who you were, who you thought you'd become, and all the timelines that didn't play out the way you hoped. But we're not doing that here. We're ruining things. So deny the change. Deny the signs. Deny the pull towards something deeper, quieter, more real. Cling to your youth like it's the only thing that made you interesting. That's how you miss the real beauty of your 40s. The kind that doesn't need filters, noise, or validation. But we'll save that kind of talk for a different video. For now, just keep pretending nothing's changed. Here's another solid way to ruin your 40s. Make comfort your religion. You've worked hard, right? Built a career, a family, a routine. Now's the time to settle in. Stay in your lane. Stick to what you know. Avoid anything that feels uncertain, uncomfortable, or even slightly risky. Why take up a new hobby, chase a wild idea, or start over when you can just watch another series, reorder the same takeout, and keep your schedule predictably dull? Comfort is safe. It tells you, this is good enough. And that voice? It gets louder every year. But here's the cost. When you stop challenging yourself, your life stops expanding. You stop surprising yourself. You stop growing. You start to believe that excitement is for younger people, that passion is for dreamers, that reinvention is irresponsible. So you keep doing what you've always done, even if it's draining you, even if you secretly hate it. And slowly, the walls close in. Your world shrinks not because of age, but because of avoidance. Here's the irony. Your 40s might be the best time to try something bold. You know yourself better. You care less about what people think. You've got enough experience to be dangerous. But if we're sticking to the plan, avoid all that. Trade adventure for predictability. Trade growth for control. Build your fortress of safety and live quietly inside it. Until one day, you wonder why nothing moves you anymore. If you really want to ruin your 40s, here's a powerful tool. Romanticize your regrets. Replay every wrong decision like it's your personal Netflix original. The job you didn't take. The person you didn't fight for. The version of you that never got to exist. Keep asking, what if? As if that question ever helped anyone move forward. Let your mind live in the past, even if your body's in the present. Compare your life to what it should have been. Hold grudges like precious heirlooms, passed down, polished, and stored just right. And when life gives you a moment of calm, use it to spiral. Think about who hurt you, why they did it, how unfair it all was. But whatever you do, don't process it. Don't release it. Don't learn from it. Because that would mean growing. That would mean grieving. And grieving is messy. It asks too much. It forces you to admit that the past is over. And the only thing left to shape is what's ahead. But no, you've got a legacy to protect. The museum of mistakes. The shrine of missed chances. The endless echo of I should've. So keep feeding that story. Let it define you. Let it weigh you down just enough that nothing new can fully take root. Regret is heavy, but it's familiar. And sometimes, familiar is more comforting than free. This one's subtle. You might even be praised for it. Give everything to everyone. Your time, your energy, your attention. Make sure the kids are okay. Your partner's okay. Your job's okay. Your parents, your inbox, your to-do list, all okay. And you? Well, you'll deal with that later, right? Start each day already behind on your own needs. Ignore the tightness in your chest. Ignore the silence in your gut. Ignore the fact that you haven't asked yourself, what do I want? In months, maybe years. Because who has time for that? Being selfless looks noble. And sure, sometimes it is. But there's a quiet kind of self-abandonment that hides inside being needed. The kind where you become a role instead of a person. A provider. A caretaker. A reliable one. But not you. Here's how you know it's working. You start feeling invisible, even in a full room. You lose track of what lights you up. You stop dreaming because it feels selfish. And if, for a second, your true self starts to speak up, you shut it down. There's no room for that here. Too much to do. Too many people depending on you. So you keep showing up, but a little more hollow each time. Until one day, you wonder, if I disappeared, would anyone even notice who I really was? That's how you ruin your 40s. By being everything to everyone but yourself. If there's one thing you definitely don't want to do in your 40s, it's slow down enough to actually hear yourself. You know that voice. The quiet one. The one that shows up when the noise fades. It doesn't yell. It doesn't guilt trip. It just whispers. This isn't it. There's more. You've drifted too far. So the trick? Stay busy. Stay distracted. Keep every hour filled. Meetings, errands, podcasts, background noise. If silence creeps in, crush it with notifications. Fall asleep scrolling. Wake up rushing. Don't leave a single second for stillness. Because stillness is dangerous. In stillness, you might remember who you were before the titles. Before the compromises. Before you started calling this version of you normal. You might feel something unexpected. Grief. Desire. Longing. Or worse, the call to change. But let's not go there. Let's keep things on the surface. Stay efficient. Stay productive. Keep treating your intuition like background static. Your inner voice is annoying anyway. It wants you to slow down, get honest, maybe take a risk. It has the nerve to care more about meaning than money, about purpose than performance. And who has time for that? Just keep moving. Keep consuming. Keep ignoring the voice that's been quietly trying to bring you back to yourself. That's how you finish the job. Not with a crash, but with a quiet, polished life that never really felt like yours. So there you have it. 5 simple steps to ruin your 40s without anyone even noticing. No scandals. No dramatic exits. Just quiet, socially approved self-erasure. Let's recap. Deny your aging. Pretend nothing's changed. Keep performing youth until it exhausts you. Obsess over comfort. Trade growth for predictability. Stay safe. Stay small. Stay stuck in the past. Let regret become your identity. Keep replaying scenes that can't be rewritten. Live for everyone but yourself. Be everything to everyone and lose yourself in the process. Avoid your inner voice. Distract. 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 Never give your soul a chance to speak. Sounds a little too familiar? Good. Because maybe, just maybe, if you're feeling that uncomfortable knot in your chest right now, it means something inside you is still alive. still listening, still fighting for space. And that's the twist. This wasn't really a guide to ruin. It was a mirror, a gentle interruption. Because the truth is, you're not too late. You're not too old. You're not stuck, unless you choose to be. The 40s can be a burial ground for forgotten dreams, or a launching pad for the most real, grounded, soul-connected version of you. You get to decide, but only if you stop long enough to ask, what would it look like to come back to myself?